we are. So here we are. Hey everyone, Linda Edgecombe here, as you know me, and today I have a special guest for this month's November Declutter project, and Connie Graff is an expert in decluttering offices. And today's challenge, I'm going to read her bio to you because you'll want to get to know this lady. Today's specific challenge is to actually clean up this crazy thing we call an office. Connie Graff is a Swiss certified expert in finance, and accounting, and a certified clutter clearing practitioner. She meets you where you're at, which is good because everybody has probably a little guilt, and takes you on a journey from chaos to peace. She helps you save time and money by showing you how to clear your clutter, tame your file monster, and track your finances. I want to talk about that and in connection to clutter. Connie helps you tidy and organize your stuff and files, but more importantly, helps you come up with some habits and systems that will prevent you from the clutter creeping back in. Also want to talk about that. Because we've all watched the hoarding shows. Anyways, clutter stresses you out. By living a clutter-free life, you are making space, literally, figuratively, everything space for things that are most important to you. And you can move forward towards your dreams and goals while being organized. Being organized is simply a side effect.
Yeah.
So
that's the goal, no? That of being organized is just the side effect. That's just what happens, no?
Yeah. So is it typical? So I'm just going to jump in with some questions. I wrote some questions. I'm already off, not even looking at them. Is it typical for people that do a dung out for it to kind of creep back in? Is that habitual?
Yes.
It is.
Yes, because a lot of people, they get to a point where it's too much, and then they start organizing or decluttering, but without a plan, without a system. And because they're not changing their habits, or they're not having a system in place so that the clutter doesn't creep back in, and they don't change their habits, it's gonna creep back in. It's like, yeah, it's like, and then it's like waste of time. Like you spent probably 2, 3, 4 hours, however long you did, and you got it all in place. But if you don't change the little things you do every day,
yeah, it's
gonna be the same, and it just depends how long, and it's gonna be the same again. And then, yeah.
So when you walk into someone's office, let's just say, "Hi, and I know you just told me you're in, not Coquitlam, you're in
Maple Ridge.
Maple Ridge.
Yes.
So when you walk into someone's, let's say you've gone to their place, you walk into their office or their office at work. Where does your eye go first? I want to know that. Do you tend to go someplace for, like, do you kind of notice something first before you dig into like all the corners, or?
Yeah, the surface of the desk.
The surface of the desk.
If I go to somebody's office, because I do home decluttering or office decluttering. If I go to the office, yes, my eye goes to the desk and to the surface of the desk. That's because that's like, if you work on a desk, and I actually say always, like, what I can help, it's not just people that work on a desk, it's basically the workspace. Like, whether you're doing woodwork, or whether you're doing metalwork, or whether you're doing sewing, or whether you're working on a desk, I go and look at your workspace. That's kind of the first.
So what if, or what would be your comment on, so, I mean, I have I have a beautiful, cute little office that I've created, a bit of a shrine to my, 30 years in business. But sometimes I don't want to be in this space. And so then I move to my kitchen counter. Is that unusual?
No.
Sometimes I feel more inspired there.
There's 2 ways how you may need a change of environment. Sometimes we just need a change of environment because it helps our creativity or our productivity if we go somewhere else. And then it's a good thing. And for some people, it is the only way how they can work, because their office is so cluttered that they can only go and work on the kitchen counter. And so it's not per se bad, but the question is why, So if you say you have a shrine in your office, maybe sometimes it's too much, because I don't know whether you have noticed that, but sometimes maybe when you're in a certain environment, it's like it feels too busy. and you can't concentrate. So then you go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting to notice where you're going and why, because maybe it's less cluttered or less things that scream for your attention.
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's the old argument, you know, is the colored mind a sign? What was it? It was an Einstein, wasn't it? A quote: "Colored mind is a sign of cluttered, or cluttered
Yes.
desk is a sign of a cluttered mind." Then what is a blank desk a sign of? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you have a bunch of things open on your desk, and right now I've got files to the left of me, jokers to the, you know, files on the left of me. My notes for you right here.
Yeah, so mine is not completely empty either. So I have also notes for you. And I have certain things. So it's not that it's not that you have to become OCD, or that everything has to be so, or that it has to be
Yeah.
clean as can be, you know, but it has to support you. So to me, it's all about support you. What you have on your desk, is it what you need? Most people that I notice that have a problem with clutter, and you don't have to call me if you don't feel like you have a have a problem with clutter, you know, like if you feel happy with piles of clutter around you, then I'm the wrong gal for you probably. But if you do, and then what I notice is people have stuff on their desk or right close by them that have nothing to do with what they want to achieve right now, you know. And that is what distracts them. It's all these things, like I see people, they have tax returns from 2 years ago on their desk. What is it doing there? I mean, you don't need it, no?
Right.
So, and what they don't realize is, and they have studies now, scientific studies, that say that our brain is not so good at blocking out. I mean, it can block out. That's what the brain does. It starts to block out, but it uses a lot of energy to do that. So you might think you don't see this over there, but you're unconscious and your brain still sees it and has to actively blocking it out constantly. That's why we feel we can't focus in certain areas, or we get very exhausted after a short period of time, because these things are all taking away energy from us.
Okay, you know? So I, in my office, and I have a brother-in-law who also works out of his own home. Well, I kind of call him a bit of a sticky note whore, to be honest with you, because he just has sticky notes with reminders. And so there's got to be a better system than sticky notes, sticky notes, sticky notes, sticky notes to remind you of, I don't even know what. What would be a simple way to, I mean, I'm sure there's not a simple way, but is if you were going to give it a tip on just your desktop for it right now. Let's not even talk about in the file cabinet or in the inbox that's turned, the outbox that's turned into an extra inbox.
Yes.
You know, there must be a small system, like if you touch a piece of paper once, do something with it, or
Yeah, but I think, I mean, this is a good concept, but it may put a lot of pressure on you. So it may not work for a lot of people because it puts so much pressure on you, because the minute you then have it in your hand, kind of comes to your mind, you should only have it in hand once. So you may not even touch it because you don't know. So I'm trying. So the thing is not to be so hard on yourself. Okay. The thing is to be good with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And so sticky notes, there's nothing wrong with sticky notes, but if you have 20, you're not going to see it anymore. True. Like if you have 20 sticky notes, the thing that is important to not forget, you're not going to see because you have 20 sticky notes. So if you have a sticky note, have one sticky note with maybe 2 or 3 points on it, what you can't forget today. But then you still have to remind yourself to look at the sticky notes, because our brain, if you're working, your brain tries to concentrate, so it will block out everything. So it will block out the sticky notes, and it will block out 20 sticky notes. That's why people can have a white or like a magnetic thing or sticky notes and everything, and still forget everything because they're not seeing it anymore. So just have one sticky note, you know?
I equate that too. I don't really see how dirty my fridge is.
Yeah.
Until my in-laws were coming over. Right? So because I see the spilt or with the dirt or the crumbs or whatever all the time, but I don't see them.
You don't see it. Exactly. That's how your brain copes with it, you know? because you're trying to achieve something else. So your brain knows, okay, right now she wants to work, or she wants to draft something. So she doesn't want to see the crumbs. She doesn't want to see the dirty fridge. So you open the fridge, take out the milk or whatever you're doing, and you don't see it. But then when the in-laws come, your brain is wired different. The brain is wired, okay, what are the in-laws going to see? And then your brain sees it all of a sudden, And it's the same with work. So if you have 20 sticky notes, your brain knows there's 20 sticky notes, and it bothers the brain, but you will not see the important sticky note. So just have one sticky note if you want to have sticky notes.
So
maybe 3 maximum, but not.
Before we end today, I want you to give us sort of like, if you're going to start somewhere, think about this for a second, because I want to tie finances into this for a second. If you're going to start somewhere in the office, where would that place be? And I'm sure it's different for everyone, but I'm sure there's probably an overriding. But I'd love to know, because I'm fascinated by it myself, what does clutter and financial stress have in common? Because you say you're a financial accounting and a clutter person, I just think there's got to be a link.
Well, yeah, there is definitely a link. So oftentimes people who have clutter in their office have no real handle on their finances. And I actually came from the finance field, as you know, so I noticed that too, that when they call me in for finances, so it depends, they call me in for finances, they have an issue with finances, but then they often have an issue with clutter. If they have an issue with clutter, they often have an issue with finances. Now, we can't always say always, but often,
okay.
And it's kind of the same thing. We just don't want to know. It's kind of like stick the head in the sand and don't want to know. Kind of what you said, and you can survive on that. And I'm not saying, and you can be even to a degree successful on that. And you're the proof of that. It's just stressful.
Yeah.
And the brain and your body and your physiology and everything starts to get used to this stress. And then it's like when you live in a cluttered environment, you don't really realize how stressful it is on you. You only realize it once you do something about it.
That's true.
And it's the same with finances. So people are often so afraid to even look at it, or they have the story, I can't do it. I was always bad with money. My mother was already bad with money. I have no idea. And then they don't even try. And it's so hard. It's so hard. And then when they actually finally do, they realize what a huge weight falls off of them. Yeah, but to explain it to them when you're in the situation, that's the hardest thing. So people like you who can actually went through this and can
it's very vulnerable.
It is literally. And so it's the same with clutter. If you get your environment to support you, and I always say, like, clutter is, you don't have to become a minimalist, you don't have to become OCD, nothing like that. It's just your environment supports you instead of stressing you out. Such a weight falls off your shoulder.
Mic drop. Like, seriously, that is the proof. So not that he will see this, but the reason I just did this challenge this month, I don't know if I even have said this to it in my email to you, is that my husband has been gone. He's gone to Nepal. He's working on we have a charity there, and he's gone the entire month of November. So I thought, as a great surprise for him, I would declutter our house, and because I have this month. So I thought, well, what the heck? I'm going to do a declutter challenge, and something's going to go out every second day with something little, not too much, 10 minutes of your time, just like a corner of your day. I don't care what it is, just start somewhere. So because I decided I was going to do it, and I put it out there for other people to do it, and sort of, it's taken a good strong hold. It has been amazing for me this month to go through literally almost every corner of my house.
Yeah.
What's shocking, and I know you probably know this from all the work you've done in this area, is the amount of excess stuff. I was going to say crap.
Yeah.
That keeps going out.
Yeah.
I keep taking to either a recycle or donations, or it is stunning to me.
Yeah.
But you're right. I come in the house and it is like, oh, it's so calm.
Yes. Yes. And you can only explain that to somebody when they experience it. And,
Yeah.
it's hard for somebody who has never experienced it. And a lot of, especially the people who say, oh no, I don't have a problem with clutter. But even those, when they may come to a point, or for whatever reason, they may have to move, they may have to downsize for whatever reason, but they think they don't have a problem. Even those people feel it. It's not something that you can fight. It's your unconscious that gets so weighed down by all these things and all this excess stuff that we have here in our, like, we live all in the rich world. No,
Yeah.
We have all the money, the money to have 4 can openers.
Yeah. Yeah.
and all this stuff, and yeah, if you just have 4 can openers and everything else is not double, triple, and quadruple, it's okay. But most people have not just 4 can openers, but too much of everything.
Right.
And a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with them anymore may have had something to do with them in the past. They may have had a hobby or a job or something, and that was important back then, but now they moved on and it has nothing to do with them anymore.
Excuse me.
And this stuff kind of keeps you back because it holds you back because it has nothing to do with you anymore, and you not giving it away, that means you can't freely walk forward. Yeah.
Okay, so because I said I wanted to do this, if you know, I haven't got a clue what anybody's offices are like, and because this particular challenge is about the office more specifically, if you're going to get someone to do anything, let's say, because a lot of times you walk into a space, you go, I don't even know where to start.
Yes.
Whether it's a roll up your sleeve start, or whether it's just a little start, where would you get someone to, where would someone's biggest bang for their 10-minute buck start?
Yeah, so the way we started is like when you said that if somebody declutters and then it creeps back in, whether that's common. And I said, yes, that is because you don't think about how you function, how your flow is, and set up your office in that way. So the first thing I would do is, if I go to somebody and help them with their office, the first thing I would do is I would ask them a little bit, maybe for 5-10 minutes, how they work, how they walk into their office, how they start working, what are they doing when mail comes in, what, like physical mail, what are they doing when they're working on something, just to hear how they function, how they tick. Because when we just start decluttering, if I don't factor that in, we may do something that doesn't work with how they're working or flowing, like how their workflow is, and then it will go against their grain, and then they will not do it, or it will become frustrating. So that's the first thing I do. I will, and if you do that for yourself, you can do that too. You can sit there with a cup of coffee or tea and just think about it. Okay, when I come in, or when mail comes in, what happens to the mail? Where do I drop it? What happens to it? Do I find it again? And then I usually, so the first thing I do in most offices is I get a kind of a lounge pad or an inbox area or something when you come in that you can put something there, and that's where you afterwards are going to find it again. Like the mail is there, or maybe your cell phone is there that you need to find again, or your handbag, just a spot where you can put these things. And then so that it's not everywhere. And then get the people into the habit of putting these things there. But it has to be in a spot where it's really, like, they don't have to think and they don't have to make any extra steps. It's literally like it has to be in what they're doing already. So that's kind of the most important thing. And then the second is that I start to figure out, okay, where do you work? How do you sit? And can we make some space? Like, a lot of people have all this stuff right up to them, and I always say boundaries. You need some space to breathe. Your creativity needs space to breathe. You need elbow room. So get this stuff a little away from you. So like I said before, whether you sit on a desk and you write, or you work on your computer, you need room. Whether you're a seamstress and you work on your sewing machine, you need some breathing space. Boundaries.
Oh,
yeah.
Honestly, such great tips. So I want to be, and I'm going to put this in the notes below, so below the video, so you can connect with Connie directly. But you're going to want to check out her. If you're in the Lower Mainland, yes, she can see you in person. And if you're not in the Lower Mainland, which lots of my viewers are not, ConnieGraf.com, and it's Connie, CONNY, Graf, GRAF. Graf.com. She has lots of great tips, some beautiful free stuff you can download off her site, but also get in touch with her if you'd like to perhaps have a little consult. And she does do a free 20-minute consult if you are interested in just sort of exploring, you know, how can I be more productive? How can I be happier and less stressed? I mean, Connie, I cannot thank you enough. I'm so happy that your friend brought us together during my declutter month, and just fabulous tips. I'm just really, I'll be touching base with you again, because I could see, if at the very least, me recommending you to some great people and clients that I work with, because obviously you're great at this. I love your energy and I love your approach. It's that's a big deal to me.
And one more thing, I always say too, like, decluttering is like self-love, and we're always talking about that we have to look after ourselves more. And yes, you can go and get a hairdresser, get a new hairdo, or you can get a facial or whatever. But clutter clearing is also self-love, because you give, like I said, you give yourself breathing space, you give yourself elbow room, you give yourself boundaries. Not just boundaries for people, you need boundaries for stuff too. Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. What a beautiful way to end this. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.